Women's World Cup in action right now. We bring you our version of the World Cup. It's Marble Soccer. Hello, welcome to MSPN's coverage of Marble Fubica. I'm Rick O'Shea, glad to have you here for our Marble Soccer tournament. There is the beautiful cup that these teams will be competing for. 16 teams. There are many representatives of those teams, and some of the countries that aren't even being represented here today in this competition have some fans and onlookers watching on. See Argentina, we saw Vietnam just a second ago. Large supporting sections as always for Brazil. We've got Indonesia in this tournament. And down, of course, towards the bottom, the United States, one of the powerhouses of this competition. The way that this tournament will work is very simple. You're going to get one run with each other, kind of like collision soccer. And at the end of that one turn, which will be three marbles we're running at a time, whoever comes up with the most points, most goals scored, will move on. One and done. So the opportunities and the margin for error, very limited here in this competition. As you look at the 2019 team statistics, Brazil, Russia, England, right now in the medal spots, all the way down to Cameroon in 14th. And a look at our field for today's competition. Indonesia against France, and the Netherlands against Brazil in the bottom left quadrant. Top left is Argentina, Russia, Vietnam, and the Korean Republic. On the right side, it's the Philippines, Mexico, Colombia, and India. And then Malaysia, Portugal, and it's Canada against the United States in round number 1. But first we start in the bottom left of our bracket, and our first matchup today will be Indonesia against France. Starting gates, and it is 4 marbles that will go for each of our teams. France in the dark blue, Indonesia in the clean white, and they are off, and the scoreboard shows 2-1 Indonesia. They will take out France. Here's a look at the replay. On the right side, you see France's first goal. There was Indonesia, and there's the winner on the left side of the screen, just sneaking in, and Indonesia will move on, beating France 2-1. The top right of the screen, and it is, or top right of the bracket, it's the United States against Canada. This is a big-time matchup. Canada on the left side in the mostly clear, USA in the silver. The United States has one. Here comes Canada. They're not going to get anything. And the US lands one in the right goal, and that's enough to win it. Right there is the winner. And it looked for a moment as though a couple of the Canadian marbles were going to have a chance to roll their way in. They cannot, and the USA advances to the quarterfinals. Next up is Vietnam against the Korean Republic. There's Korea, there is Vietnam. Vietnam had a lot of success in their last tournament that they participated in. They're in the yellow. And they scored at least one there. Here comes another one. They will score again, and Vietnam with a 2-0 win over Korea. Put one in at the end there for some good measure. Right at the beginning they score one, and then at the end, it wasn't the same marble. It almost looked for a second as though it was the same marble that scored twice. It wasn't, but it is 2 marbles for Vietnam that find their way into the goals and win this one by a final of 2-0. Mexico against the Philippines now. Mexico again in the green and black, and the Philippines white, blue, red. Matchups. Oh, that's at least 2 for Mexico. The Philippines won't do anything, and Mexico scores 2 right off the bat in the right corner, and are able to win this one by a final of 2-0. There's 1, there's 2, and that's all they need. One held it in the basket, the other one came back out of the goal to try to score another, but it's 2-0 again. And that is 3 consecutive rounds now that we've seen one of the teams being held scoreless. The U.S. won 1-0, Vietnam won 2-0, and there Mexico 2-0. This matchup is the Netherlands and Brazil. Very colorful and unique marbles here. That may have been a couple for Brazil. It's 3-1 as the Netherlands pick up 1. I'll tell you what, that one marble for the Netherlands trying to score again. That was the one that did score for the Netherlands, and 1-2. And then on the left side, you saw Brazil put in one extra one, and then the Netherlands scored their one marble. It's a 3-1 win, and Brazil is moving on. They will face Indonesia in the second round. Back to the right side, and it's Malaysia in the yellow and black. Maybe it's brown, hard to tell there. They'll take on Portugal in the green. They are off, and Malaysia scores a couple. Portugal puts in only one, and Malaysia is going to move on to take on the United States. One on each side for Malaysia. Made contact right in the middle of the field there and split off one way and the other, and they both go in. So a good run there for Malaysia. They're going to take on the U.S. And now it's Russia against Argentina, and the winner gets Vietnam. Argentina in the white and light blue. Almost solid red for Russia. And they will be denied. Oh, at the last moment. Nope, that marble is not going to go. Right on the line, it does not cross. And Russia is eliminated by a 1-0 score. There's the one score off the post and in for Argentina. And at the very end, Russia unable to get that last marble to just roll a little bit further. About 50-50, but it's got to go in. It did not, and Russia is eliminated. Argentina is moving on. That is an absolute killer. And now the final first round matchup is India against Colombia. Colombia in their classic yellow, blue, and red. Whoa, somebody fell off the entire course. Here comes India at the last moment to score and win. Yeah, look at that. It looks like it was, one of the Indian marbles didn't even make it onto the course properly. Fell off the ramp there. And at the last second, rolling in, and none of the Colombian marbles were there to try to make a block. And so, unimpeded, India goes in for the score and the 1-0 win. And the first round is complete. And now we play for a spot in the semifinals. First matchup is Indonesia against Brazil. Brazil put in 3, which was the most we've seen in the first round. They take on the first game winner, and that's Indonesia, who has 1. Indonesia now has 2, and Brazil doesn't pick up any. How about that? Indonesia with a bit of an upset. They win this one by a final of 2-0. And they've outscored their opponents 4-1 now through their first 2 rounds as they head to the semifinals. And they are now guaranteed a spot, at least in a competition to get onto the podium for Indonesia, who doesn't always participate. Here's one team that always does participate, the United States, as they take on Malaysia. 3 entire rows of supporters for both of these countries. Yellow and black against silver and white. They are off. And the United States has a couple. Malaysia put in 1, but it's 3 for the United States, and the USA is moving on. The left side put in 2 for the US, and the right side had 1 for each, so it's the left side scoring only US goals that ends up costing Malaysia their chance. And the United States is on to the semifinals, and now Argentina takes on Vietnam. Vietnam in the red and yellow. They've got 1, and it looks like that might be all we get. Everybody else is towards the center of the field. It is, and Vietnam wins it by a final of 1-0. They are on to the semifinals in a low-scoring affair, and it's going to be Indonesia against Vietnam in one of the semifinals. The United States waits for the winner of India and Mexico. India winning with that last-second goal. Mexico looks pretty confident in their win. Did Mexico score? I don't know if we had a score there. Yep, we did get one. As the scoreboard shows, Mexico won. Yeah, there it is. It came out very quickly, but it did go in at the very beginning. Mexico is moving on as they shut out India 1-0. Into the semifinals now. Two powerhouses, the United States and Mexico. Two underdogs, Indonesia and Vietnam. We begin with the underdogs. Indonesia had a nice run there last time. And they're going to do it again. They're going to get another one to fall in. The last one at the end for an exclamation mark couldn't quite go, but 2-1, Indonesia is into the final. Once again, the inability to block becomes very important as that one Vietnam marble unable to block the other Indonesian. And Indonesia nearly put in a third one just for good measure. 2-1 ends up as the final. And now we get the United States against Mexico. And they are off. Mexico's got a couple. The U.S. is in trouble. They're not going to score any. 2-0. Mexico is into the finals. As the U.S. is unable to score. And now we will see Vietnam against the United States for third place. Disappointing finish for the U.S., who looked pretty confident going through those first two rounds, but now they're going to have to battle with Vietnam for a spot on the podium. The United States have two, maybe three. They do give them that third one. Vietnam scored only one, and 3-1 is the final. The U.S. takes third place. They get on the podium. And now the sights are turned towards Mexico and Indonesia. Mexico has had a lot of success in these tournaments, getting deep into the tournament runs. They've won a couple of tournaments. They look for another against Indonesia, a huge underdog. But Indonesia has been very impressive. As you see there, 2 rows of supporters, 3 full rows for Mexico. Maybe a little bit of David versus Goliath as they head to the field. Mexico's got a couple. Indonesia scored only one. Mexico is going to win it 3-1 the final, and the Mexicans again take home the gold. Valiant effort by Indonesia, but they had a couple of marbles that didn't even make contact with anyone else, and when you have a couple of marbles that just run free, makes it a lot harder. Mexico is the winner. Indonesia gets the runner-up spot, and third place to the United States. Impressive run by Indonesia, but it wasn't to be as Mexico gets the win. They take home a very impressive trophy for this competition. First place to Mexico, second place to Indonesia, and the bronze goes to the United States.
Hello Marble Sports fans, and welcome back to this Marble Soccer Tournament here on Fubeka's Marble Runs. I'm Jeremiah, and I'm glad to be here for this exciting day of soccer. Or is it football? If you're anywhere else in the world besides America, comment down below, football or soccer. We have 16 countries competing today for the overall championship in this tournament on a one-on-one format. So we'll have to see how these marbles can do in today's race. They'll start up at the top and make their way down to the field, where they will have a fidget spinner in the middle, and then they'll have to try to make as many goals as possible, and then whoever has the most will advance to the next round in the bracket system. As we take a look at the track, you'll notice that each goal also has a goalie, which will make it a little bit harder for some of these marbles to make some goals in this tournament. And here are the countries that are competing in today's tournament. We have England versus Mexico, and then we will have Pakistan versus Spain, and then Brazil versus Germany. And then after that, we have Cameroon versus Indonesia. And then on the other side of the bracket, we have Argentina versus India, the USA versus China, Portugal versus Vietnam, and Qatar versus France. So we'll have to see how these duels go. And Mexico versus England is the first duel in this tournament. So we're about to get started for the first game of soccer here in this tournament, and they're off. We'll see how they do, and England gets a goal. Mexico gets a goal. England gets another goal, and they get blocked by a goalie. Mexico almost gets hit by the fidget spinner, but it is England who gets 2 goals, 2-1. And England will advance to the next round. Mexico will be eliminated in this first duel. Mexico so close to that fidget spinner, almost having a chance of scoring a goal right there. See England getting a goal right off the bat, and as well as Mexico getting behind the goalie. England would have had 3 goals if it wasn't for this goalie right here blocking him. Then the other England marble came up from the left and scored a goal there. So England will advance to the next round, and Mexico will stay eliminated. And now it is time for the second duel, Argentina versus India. And we're off yet again. And let's see who gets a goal first. It's India. India gets a goal. And Argentina. India gets 2 goals. Will there be any more goals? India flirting with that goal over on the left. But they won't be able to get it. And they don't need it anyway, because India will advance to the next round. 2-1. Argentina will be eliminated. Take a look at this replay. There's a lot of jostling here. India gets one on the left, and then India and Argentina get one side by side on the right goal. There weren't any more goals after that. Argentina will be eliminated, and India will advance to the next round. And now it is time for Indonesia versus Cameroon. And we're off yet again. Let's see who gets it. Indonesia gets one. Cameroon gets another one. And then there's another one for Indonesia. Just past the goalie. 2 marbles right next to that goalie there. They aren't able to get in the goal. And it is a Indonesia gets 2 and Cameroon gets 1. 2-1. Those 2 marbles on the left. Very close to getting 2 more goals. But they weren't able to do it. Cameroon. One of the Cameroon marbles lagging behind a little bit. That's an interesting strategy for them. See Indonesia getting one right off the bat as well as for Cameroon. Indonesia coming up from behind on that goalie and was able to get that one as well. Almost got another one from the bump from Cameroon. They weren't able to do it. So Indonesia will advance to the next round, eliminated Cameroon. And now it is time for Qatar versus France. And the round is about to start. And we're off. Let's see who gets a goal. Qatar gets 3 goals, gets 4 goals. Qatar has a knockout. France only has 1 goal. There's another goal. But Qatar will have 4 goals. An amazing performance by Qatar in this round. Getting 4 goals, 4-2. A complete knockout. Let's see just how they did that. It was so quick, hard to see. You can see 2 marbles getting in a goal there. Another goal on the left. And then the final goal on the right before the France even got 2 goals. That last France marble coming up and getting that final goal. The other 2 France marbles had already stopped. So Qatar will be advancing to the next round, and France will be eliminated. Now it is time for Spain versus Pakistan. Let's see who gets goals in this round. Here they go, and it is 2 goals for Spain, 1 goal for Pakistan. Let's see if Pakistan can get any more. Spain coming around there, but there are no more goals. Spain will be advancing to the next round. Pakistan will be eliminated. So many marbles so close to the goal, but they weren't able to get in there. Spain having 2 goals, definitely a decent performance for Spain. Pakistan only having 1 goal. Let's see how they did it. You can see there, Pakistan having some trouble with the entry to the field. Kind of all the marbles going everywhere, and Spain had a more orderly entry into the field there, which ultimately led them to have more goals. So Spain will advance to the next round, and they will go against England in the next round. Now for US versus China. Let's see who can come out on top in this game. And they are off. Let's see who gets first goal. USA gets 2, 3 goals. There's 2 goals for China. Will there be any more goals? No. US will advance to the next round, and China will be eliminated. Close match between the US and China. Let's see how they did it. You can see US getting in 2 and then 3 all on the right side, and then China finally gets in their first one and then their second one down in the left. So the USA will be going against India in the second round. And now it is time for Germany versus Brazil. And they're off. And it is Brazil who gets 1 goal. They get 2 goals. There's another goal for Brazil. Germany gets 0 goals. Oh, here comes one there. And they do get 1 goal. 1 goal for Germany, but 3 goals for Brazil. Brazil will advance to the next round. That Germany marble there is so close to getting a goal. They weren't able to do it. How you enter the field and where you hit the fidget spinner is really important in this sport. See how Brazil did it and how Germany was not able to do it in this round. You can see Brazil getting a goal right off the bat, and then they had 2 more marbles roll in right on that left side, with Germany getting one right at the end. But that last marble took a long time to get into that right goal, which they got the one and only goal in that round for Germany. But Brazil will be going against Argentina in the second round. Now it is time for Portugal versus Vietnam. And they're off. Let's see how they do. No goals so far. There's 2 goals for Vietnam. Portugal not having any goals. Here he comes. And Vietnam gets another goal. Vietnam actually blocks Portugal from getting a goal while getting another goal with another marble. Great strategy by Vietnam in this game. Portugal not even getting 1 goal. That's definitely hard for them. You can see they all kind of just went everywhere. You can see Vietnam going back for this fidget spinner, which allowed them to get a couple more goals. And then they just kept on rolling, which is sometimes what you gotta do in this sport. See Portugal trying to get a goal there, but the Vietnam marble blocked them from getting it, while another Vietnam marble came up from the other side and got a goal. So Vietnam will advance to the next round going against Qatar. And now we are on to Spain versus England. This is the first quarterfinal, and we're off. And let's see who gets some points. Goalies doing a good job. Spain gets 1 point. England getting another point. And Spain gets another point. England has 1, Spain gets 2. Spain will be advancing to the semifinals. England will be eliminated. Let's see how they did it in this replay. Goalies blocked 3 goal attempts in this round. They definitely had an efficient blocking ratio in this round. Spain getting 2 points there. Let's see, they had 1 point there. And here comes the second one, as well as for 1 for England. But none of their other marbles were able to get a goal. So Spain will be advancing to the semifinal. And now it is time for India versus the USA. And we're off yet again. See who gets a goal first. And it is US gets a goal. India gets a goal. There's 2 more goals for each competitor. India gets all 4 goals. And USA only gets 2. India will be advancing to the next round, eliminating the USA. A full knockout for India. Getting all 4 of their marbles in the goals. Definitely a great performance by India in this game. We'll have to see if India can make it and get into a round with Qatar, because they're the only 2 teams this far who have gotten full knockouts in this tournament. You can see there, the Indian marble actually pushing the USA marble in to get out of the way so they can make it for 2 more goals. The final Indian marble getting in there. So India will be advancing to the semifinals. And now it is time for Indonesia versus Brazil. 2 solid colored marbles, white on the left and yellow on the right. See who gets a goal first. Indonesia gets a goal. They get hit by the fidget spinner yet again, but no goals here. Here comes another Indonesian marble there, blocked by the goalie. It's 1-0. Indonesia will be advancing to the semifinals, and Brazil will be eliminated. Very low scoring game in this round. Indonesia only getting 1 goal. See what caused these marbles to not get more goals. They all kind of went out to the sides. Indonesia using the wall to ricochet back into the goal. Another attempt by the fidget spinner there, but they weren't able to do it. Brazil just kind of hung out in the middle of the field for most of the round. That's not the way you want to do it if you want to make goals in this tournament. Indonesia will be advancing to the semifinals, going against Spain. And now it is time for Vietnam versus Qatar. Let's see how Qatar does in this round. See if they can get another 4-goal round. And let's see who gets any goals. Qatar gets a goal. Vietnam gets a goal. See if there's any more goals. Qatar coming up, and they get another goal. And there will be no more goals. Qatar will advance to the semifinals, and Vietnam will be eliminated. Not another knockout for Qatar, but at least they still advanced. See how they do it. Some hard hits by Vietnam to their own members of the team. And Qatar hadn't even made any goals yet. There's one. There's one for Vietnam. And then that one up in the top of your screen. Coming up close to the goal, but they weren't able to do it. And for a while at least, then they finally got there and passed the goalie, getting another goal, which ultimately advanced them to the semifinals. And they will go against India. And they will be the 2 knockout teams, 2 teams that have gotten 4 goals in a round. So we will start with Indonesia versus Spain. The first semifinal, and we're off. And off the bat, Spain gets a goal, Indonesia gets a goal. Indonesia coming up, they get another goal. And there's another goal for Spain. Indonesia, there's another goal. Spain coming up against the goal. No more goals. Indonesia gets 3 and Spain gets 2. Indonesia will advance to the final round and Spain will advance to the third place match. Spain and Indonesia both having a good game, getting quite a number of goals. And they weren't all at once either. They kept getting goals over and over as the game went on. You can see here each one only had 1 goal at the start, and then Indonesia got one. So Spain says we need to get another one as well. And Indonesia says, well, we need another one too. Spain was not able to get another one after that. Indonesia will advance to the final round. And Spain will go to the third place match. And now it is time for India versus Qatar. Both knockout teams got all 4 goals in one of their games. And they're off. Let's see if we can get any more knockouts in this round. India gets a goal. There's a goal for Qatar. 1-1. India coming up on that goal there. Qatar gets another one on the right. And that's it. Qatar will be advancing to the next round, the final, and India will be advanced to the third place match. No knockouts this time by both of the knockout teams. Actually a pretty low scoring game. Maybe it's just that they're both such good teams that they kind of counteracted each other. You can see at this point in the game, India and Qatar both had only 1 point. Qatar coming up on the right, getting another point. India trying to get another point up on the left. They weren't able to do it. So Qatar will advance to the final round, and India will advance to the third place match. Qatar will be going up against Indonesia in the final round, and now it is time for the third place match. Spain versus India. Now for the third place match, and we're off. And Spain gets a goal, India gets a goal. India gets 2 goals, Spain gets 2 goals, India gets another goal. Spain gets stuck by a goalie, and India will get the third place. Spain will get 4th in this tournament. Congratulations to all you India fans getting 3rd place, the last podium spot in this tournament. Definitely a good accomplishment for India. See, India getting a goal there right past the goalie, as well as for Spain. And that there's another India marble up on the top of the screen, which was the final goal. And now it is time for the final round, Indonesia versus Qatar. Final round is about to begin. Who will come out on top and be the champion of this tournament? Let's see who gets a goal first. It's Indonesia gets a goal. Qatar gets 2 goals. Indonesia gets 2 goals. Goalie on the right, blocking a lot of marbles. But Indonesia gets a goal on the left, and Indonesia will be the champion of this tournament. Qatar will get 2nd place. Indonesia is the overall champion. You can see the goalie on the right doing a tremendous job blocking 3 marbles at the end of this round, as we'll see here in a bit. Indonesia having a good performance. 1 marble at the end of the round was what made all the difference. You can see that goalie blocking that Qatar marble twice, as well as blocking that Indonesia marble and another Qatar marble, the Indonesia marble on the left, coming out from behind the goalie and getting the final 3rd goal, which brought them to victory. Now it is time for the podium ceremony. Congratulations to Indonesia for being your overall soccer tournament champion, and Qatar for 2nd place, and India gets 3rd place. Definitely India and Qatar having 2 knockouts. India was the ultimate comeback, getting 1st place in the...
Hello and welcome to a brand new tournament. You see a very large course on our screen, and a very interesting secondary part to this competition for what we are calling our Marble Soccer Points Tournament. We welcome you in. I'm Ricochet here for MSPN's coverage of Marble Fubica. As you see on your screen, there's a couple different options for point scoring in this competition. It's not just about getting through the course, but it's also about determining which side of the course you're going to come out from. As you see the team statistics for 2019 on the screen, Mexico's moved into 4th place with a win in our last competition. Russia, Brazil, England still leading the way in medal spots right now. Two teams going to go in a one-off competition, one and done. Most points is going to win it and move on. As is with many of our competitions, that is the case today as you see the large supporting sections. So one and done, but it's not just about scoring in this competition. As you look at the cup we're competing for today in another marble soccer event. And we'll show you the teams. The Philippines, Russia, Brazil, and Germany. United States, Vietnam, India, and Argentina. On the left side of the bracket, on the right side, it's Belgium, Indonesia, Mexico, and Chile. And then Malaysia, Portugal, France, and Colombia. The way that this competition is going to work, it's one team against another, and this first competition will be the Philippines against Russia. You've got to get through the competition, or through the course, and then decide which one you're going to go through, either the 2 or the 5. Then you have to make it into the goal as the teams are off, and then you'll receive that amount of points for which spot you went through, whether it's 2 or 5. As we see a couple go through the 2, only one went in though. It's the Philippines, and they're going to win it. They're going to win this competition 2-0, and be the first team to make it into the quarterfinals. You see on the replay, 1, 2, 3 different marbles made it through the 2. Nobody made it through 5, but only one made it to the back of the net, and that's what matters. Not just where you're going, whether it's going through the 2 spot that'll get you 2 points, or the 5 that will earn you a significantly higher amount of points, but you also have to then make it into the goal. That's the case for the Philippines, and they're moving on as our next competition matchup is going to be France against Colombia. And you're battling with the other team to see which side you come through. A lot of people going through the 5, and the only one to make it into the goal is Colombia. And they're going to win this one 5-0. If you go towards the side, as you see, one of the Colombian marbles didn't even make it down the course. But they still get the win. If you go down the closer on the screen, the closer option, the lower funnel and lower part of the course there, you're going to have a better opportunity to score 5. If you're up towards the higher part, it's going to be a higher opportunity to score just 2 points. But you have to make it through the goal, which we've seen 2 of the 4 teams so far haven't even been able to do that. And so it doesn't matter which side you go through if you don't put it in the back of the net. This is Argentina against India now. And India is going to send a bunch through the 2. A lot of oh my goodness, a lot of goals all over the place. Argentina scores 2, India scores 3. They're all in the 2. And the final score, with that last one right there for India coming in late, is India 6, Argentina 4. India moves on in a action-packed competition there. Now we get Belgium against Indonesia, who impressed in their last competition. Made it all the way to the championship. Settled for silver. There they go. Belgium gets out first. And the only one to score is going to be Indonesia, and they're going to score twice. 1 through the 2 and 1 through the 5. And Indonesia gets the win 7-0. Another easy win for Indonesia. There was the 2, and then all alone. And an easy one, just had to make their way through the little hole there. And Indonesia gets a 7-0 win. Next up is Germany against Brazil. Germany in the black. Brazil with a minty green in today's competition. Who gets down first? It's going to be mostly Germany, and they'll put a few in the back of the net, as does Brazil. Brazil's going to get the win, though. 4-2 the final. And one of their marbles, once again, a couple of times now that the winning team has had one of their marbles get stuck and unable to complete the course. A couple went through, but right off the post, and that's what costs Germany off the right post and does not go through. And so Brazil is moving on. And now it's Malaysia against Portugal. interesting twist in the competition that it really does matter which side of the half pipe you come out on. Malaysia with the sleek gray look. Everybody's going to make it through this time, and they're headed towards every which way. They all end up in the 2s. 3 of them go in for Malaysia. Only 1 scores for Portugal, and Malaysia gets the win 6-2. Look at that. They changed from where you would think they would go in the 5. They moved up the course through the 2 and had success there, enough to get the win. Malaysia's moving on. Take on Colombia in the second round. And now the matchup is I would say, highly anticipated one. Vietnam against the United States. The USA always has success, and Vietnam has done well in their last couple of competitions. They're going to get to the half pipe first. Which way are they going to go? They're going to go through the 5. Now they're going to get to the 2. Another 2. Here comes the US. They're only going to put 1 in. No, they put in 2. And the United States gets the win 5-4. 2 scores for Vietnam. The U.S. only got 1, but it's a 5. And it got some help from Vietnam. An assist there that allows the U.S. to take out their opponent and move on to the second round. They'll take on India in the quarterfinals, and that's going to be a devastating loss for Vietnam there, as it looked like they were going to get that win, and they ultimately helped the U.S. along. Moving on now to Chile against Mexico. Mexico won our last competition, and they are going to get to the half pipe first. Every which way they go. Mexico's got 1, Mexico's got 2, and they've got a 7-0 win. Nothing went through for Chile. There was the 5 for Mexico, and then clearing the way, another 2 points go, and Mexico has the second shutout win of a 7-0 score. Brazil against the Philippines as we begin round number 2. Spots in the semifinals starting to be on the line here. Brazil and the Philippines. It's all Brazil. 1 at the end. There's 2 at the end now. The Philippines made a run for it, but it's 7-4 in the final. Brazil put in a 5 and a 2, and the Philippines way later put in a couple more. Wow, almost another 5 went in. And then there's the first and the second of the 2 2s that were put in for the Philippines, but it's too little too late, as Brazil earned a big enough lead that they will advance to the semifinals with a 7-4 win. Now we get Colombia against Malaysia. Up at the starting grid, and here we go. One of the Colombian marbles again struggling. Let's see if everybody can get it onto the course. The answer is yes, and a couple of 2s for Colombia. 1 for Malaysia, another 2 for Colombia, and at the last moment, Malaysia had 1 more chance, but they cannot put it in. And so Colombia moves on with a 4-2 final. There was 1 for each, and then there, with on a ricochet there, Colombia able to put the extra 1 in, and then blocking the way, no chance for Malaysia when they decided they were going to go for a 2. No opportunity really there, as Colombia had the way blocked, and they move on to the semifinals. Now India against the United States. Winner takes on Brazil in the semifinals. Making their way down pretty easily here. Everybody's going to get their chance. And the U.S. puts in 2. There's a couple of 2s for India. And that's going to do it. India's going to win by a final of 4-2. And they block the way, where the United States was going to have a hard time scoring another. There they were, all 3 at the very beginning able to score. And there was the one that really cost the U.S. And they blocked it there after nearly, for the second time, the opponent helping out the United States. So India moving on to the semifinals. They take on Brazil. And now Mexico and Indonesia, which was the matchup for the championship in our last competition, which was just a regular marble soccer. If you haven't seen that, go ahead and check it out. Now they face off here with a spot in the semifinals on the line. Indonesia gets the first try. They're going to get through for 2. And that might be it. It will be it. Indonesia scores 2. Both these competitions, or both these teams, won 7-0. in their first round. This time only 2 points combined, and Indonesia's onto the semifinals for the second consecutive tournament. Back to the other side, though, of this bracket, and it's Brazil against India. Brazil building a large lead against the Philippines, and India taking out the United States to get to where they are. They're slowly making their way down. One of the Brazilian marbles is stuck, and so is another Brazilian marble and an Indian marble. 3 of the 6 total marbles unable to score. Brazil wins it 2-0. We'll have to check the replay as their only marble to get through scored. The 2 Indian marbles hit it right in the middle. An easy score for Brazil, and they get the win in a wild one to move on to the championship. Something tells me that is not going to do against whoever comes out of this matchup between Colombia and Indonesia in the championship round. And their supporters are right next to each other. The top 2 rows, Indonesia. The bottom 3 below that are the Colombians. And now they face each other. There is a couple for Indonesia. And that's it. Another 7-0 win. Indonesia has not allowed their opponent to score in their first 3 rounds of competition, and they're going into the championship with a shutout going. They've outscored their opponents 16-0 here, and nearly another 2 at the end there for Indonesia. And they've got 2 of the 3 times that we've seen a 7-0 score. But first, our 3rd place game before we get Brazil and Indonesia. We get India and Colombia for a spot on the podium. And everybody makes it through this time, and a lot of scores. All 3 scored for India, but it's not enough. Colombia put in a 5 to mix in with their 2, and they're going to win it 7-6. So the 3rd place goes to Colombia, and now the matchup between Brazil and Indonesia. Once again, a big powerhouse country against the smaller Indonesia, trying to avenge what they did last time in the 2nd place win. They have not allowed their opponent to score at all. That is going to change right there. Brazil puts in a couple. Indonesia put in 1. Indonesia put in a 5, and they win the tournament. Brazil put in 2, but they were both 2s. That only counts for 4, and right there, rolling across the line, Indonesia wins this one. They win the Marble Soccer Points Tournament. They get the gold. The bronze goes to Colombia. Brazil has to settle for silver. And gold today belongs to Indonesia. Congratulations to them as they avenge the 2nd place finish in their previous tournament. They take out the team they lost to in the championship then. In Mexico, they take them out in the